All right, we are about to show you a lot of weather graphics live cams as we are tracking the winter storm of 2025. I am Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine here in the Weather Impact Team Weather Center with meteorologist Mallory Schnell. So we are going to get you up to date with what's happening out there. You can look out your window and see what's happening out there, and it's just a bunch of snow across the area. We're just waiting to get up on our WHS11 Plus channel on our WHS11 app. If you want to download the app, we'll have a lot of updates there throughout the winter storm, and we'll also be streaming on YouTube. So thanks for joining us on YouTube, Facebook, or our WHS11 Plus app. And it is a busy morning here. We've had some interstate shutdowns already in Metro Louisville here at 10:40 a.m. on this January the 5th. All right, so again, I am Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine. I'm going to make it awkward and turn the camera right over here. Hi. There's Mallory. So we are tracking the live conditions out there. We've got a bunch of Trimark cameras up. We'll have some NDOT cameras. Basically, the roads are snow covered. Would avoid travel if you can. We're going to show you an overturned semi here, still at 64 westbound at the Snyder, right before the Snyder, near Echo Trail. Looks like they're now getting one lane through that area. And I can go ahead and pop that camera up here. There you can see the heavy snowfall rates. About 2 inches per hour is the estimated amount of snowfall coming down right now. So again, we'll be coming up on WHS 11 Plus here in just a moment. But thanks for joining us here first on Facebook with our Facebook Live and YouTube. So there you can see the treacherous travel that we already have around the area. Definitely snow covered, not only on the outer roads and the rural roads, but the interstates are covered up. So the snow fighters out there, the snow crews, are going to be busy, busy, busy all day today. And we are now live as well. If you're just starting to pick us up on WHS 11 Plus, thanks for joining us on whichever platform you might be joining us from. So there you can see one lane, 64 westbound at the Snyder, overturned semi off to the side there. Here are the NDOT cameras. We're looking at I-65 and 64. If you have to travel, we know this, we've been through snowstorms before, you just have to be ready to allow a lot of extra time and really go slow, and hopefully you have the four-wheel drive. Look at all the red here on our traffic tracker. Still some accidents reported. We've got one there on 71. I'm sure there are several other slide-offs that haven't been even reported on this map. So emergency crews will be really busy as well, with all the plow crews out there too. So it is 10:43 a.m. on this Sunday morning, January 5th. As expected, the big winter storm is here and packing a pretty good punch. Again, around 2 inch per hour snowfall rates, up to around 4 to 6 inches of snow has been reported in many locations, and this is showing the red on all the interstates, highways and byways here, the Bluegrass Parkway, the Western Kentucky Parkway, all going slow. Look at the nearly whiteout conditions. It was 29 around sunrise this morning, and now that we have the heavy snow, we've dropped to 25 degrees. So there you can see it coming down heavily live downtown here, and you can't see the Ohio River, which we normally would be able to see. To the right is the Yum Center roof, and then down below middle is the elevated portion of Interstate 64 through downtown. There it is. There is all of the snow for all of us. So initially this starts off as a snowstorm, and then we'll likely transition to some sleet and some freezing rain. Freezing rain is that glaze of ice that we do not want on the trees and power lines. And it looks like a lot of that icing could occur just north and south of the Interstate 64 corridor down to the Western Kentucky Parkway and the Bluegrass Parkway. We'll show you all the maps, snowfall totals, and everything else, and much, much more, of course, coming up. And if you're just popping in, again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine here in the Weather Impact Team Weather Center to help you navigate through the messy conditions that we have out there for today, and hopefully answer some of your questions as well. There you can see the transition to a freezing rain or sleet or just plain rain The farther west you go to western Kentucky towards Paducah, as we expand out the storm, as you look west, that's kind of the different types of precipitation that we can expect later this afternoon and evening. Now, there are some spots just north and northeast of Louisville that will likely stay in snow nearly in the entire time, and we're talking up to possibly a foot of snow in those areas. So this is the winter storm warning that we have for nearly the entire WHS 11 viewing area until 7 p.m. tomorrow. Monday, 7 p.m. We are not alone. There are impacts stretching far and wide. Again, the Interstate 64 corridor in north and south is where most of this action is, with winter storm warnings all the way to Washington, D.C., all the way out to St. Louis. Of course, there will be many travel delays, not only on the ground, but in the air, and the blizzard warnings where the winds are really strong out towards Kansas City into much of Kansas and northwestern Missouri. Let's get back home to us and what's happening here. So this is Futurecast up until 1 p.m. Notice it's a steady and heavy snow that continues for at least the northern 2/3 of our viewing area. And then as you look to the south, we might start, and as we go into the afternoon, we're getting close to the freezing mark around 31 Litchfield, Munfordville. That's cold enough that we could have some glazing of ice and maybe also some sleet mixing in. Now, if we get any sleet to mix in, that will sharply cut off your snowfall totals. So generally, we're going to see the lightest amounts of snow southwest of Louisville and the heaviest amounts to the north. And we'll see that reflected with our Futurecast snowfall maps here in just a moment as well. Here is 5:30 p.m. stop. So there you can see we're starting to warm up a little bit. This is that, maybe you've heard the term, the warm nose, that warm layer of air elevated maybe around the cloud layer aloft. Still very cold at the surface for the most part, but then you get this warm layer above, which gives us some of that freezing rain potential and some sleet. And then we go possibly above freezing south of the Bluegrass and Western Kentucky Parkways down to the Cumberland Parkway. So Litchfield, Munfordville, Campbellsville, you might get into just a plain rain that might melt some of the earlier snow a little bit later on today and this evening. So we could just spend some more time on this map alone, because you've got north of 64 still just snow late afternoon. So we're piling up the snow. Again, we might see foot amounts up towards Seymour, North Vernon, Bedford. We'll see how far south that hefty snow amounts will go. And of course, we appreciate your reports as well. Please send them in, your photos at WHS11.com or in the comments section. And we love to hear those snowfall amounts, because there's going to be a big variety of snowfall totals today, and ice totals and sleet totals. Where we get the sleet and the freezing rain, really going to shut down the snowfall totals. Where it stays mostly snowfall, then we're going to see some huge amounts. So county to county, north to south across our viewing area, different amounts of all this different wintry mess in all of our backyards. So this is not a one-size-fits-all storm. As we look ahead here, there you can see the really steady and heavy precip starting to slide to the east. This is around 10 o'clock this evening. What we're left with is some freezing drizzle and maybe just some plain light rain south of Louisville for a period of time. So a little bit above freezing. You're going to see those lower snowfall totals south of Bullitt County especially. And then we're still well below freezing in southern Indiana, northern Kentucky, and up I-71 toward Newcastle, Henry County, Oldham, Trimble, Carroll County, into Jefferson County, Indiana, Mount Madison. There you can see we're below freezing, and then we're looking at some icing trouble. Looking ahead to tomorrow morning, the very back end of the storm system wrapping around more cold air and kind of the last punch of snowfall, as well as we are solidly below freezing pretty much everywhere. This is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, so this will be our last additional snowfall on top of what could be a layer of sleet, layer of freezing rain, or ice, and a layer of snow. So kind of a little cake of different ingredients here with this winter storm. There you can see that moves off, maybe some flurries left over tomorrow afternoon, and it's going to be gusty. We're going to have some wicked wind chills out there. Tonight the winds will start to pick up. We'll look at the winds here in a moment too, and then it's going to be gusty tomorrow. What we'll have to watch out for that is if we do have that glazing of ice, maybe up to ½ inch in some areas, that can perhaps make it a little more trouble on those trees and power lines and maybe cause some more power outages. Now into Tuesday, here's the problem after this storm. If there are power outages, it's going to be very cold, and we're looking at highs in the 20s, lows in the single digits for the remainder of this week, and then we might have another winter storm with snow next Friday. Haven't talked about that yet. So here's the snowfall potential map, and there you can see the gradients, or the amounts dropping south and then heavier to the north. Certainly there is the potential 5 to 10 inches around Louisville, higher amounts north, lower amounts south. Already picking up around 5.5 inches around Ferdinand and Jasper and Du Bois County, Indiana. So that's out to the west. That's an idea of what is still to come. Wind gusts tonight, you can see gusting to around 30 miles per hour. And to get blizzard conditions, you typically need those winds getting up over 50 miles per hour. So we'll keep it with our winter storm around here, and it stays gusty into our Monday. So the wind chills are going to be brutal for the next couple of days with this winter storm. And what does end up on the ground in your yards is going to stay there for a long time, because we're going to be in an ice box for a long time with the freezing temperatures for the rest of this week. And here is the ice potential. I'm going to show you two different weather models. So this shows you a little bit lighter amount than some sources you may have seen. So this is showing around quarter to maybe up to a half inch. Again, along I-64 seems like the bullseye, the zone for ice. And again, just north and just south of Interstate 64. And then here's the GFS weather model. So that one before was what we call the graph, or in-house weather model. And then this is pumping out a little bit more. Again, quarter inch to a half inch of ice possible. This one goes a little bit farther to the south. Either way, that is very difficult just to walk in. So watch out, just stepping foot out your door and walking down the sidewalk or your porch. Okay, as we look live out there again, some big snowflakes out there. This is our downtown cam from the top of the Galt House with our Bachman Auto Group cam, our U of L Health camera network. We're at 25 and 24. The winds are light, and we have a wind chill in the teens. When those winds pick up later today, we're going to be talking about single-digit wind chills, or possibly even colder than that for the nights ahead. So here are the temperatures, all well below freezing. That's why we have this solid shield of just snowfall out there now. Wind chills in the teens in many locations. Now, we're going to concentrate on storm number one, which is today and tomorrow, but I just want to give you a little sneak preview of what the European weather model and the GFS weather model are saying for next Friday. Another system, the center of the low tracking off to our south. That puts us in the cold air, which is locked in place, not going anywhere. The ingredients are there for the potential of a good snow next Friday. I mean, this is Doug Prophet heaven here over the next 7 days. And for all of you snow lovers, bots, bring on the snow. Here we go, wintry mix tonight. Again, later tonight we transition to like a freezing drizzle, rain south, snow north, just a big mix across the area. Lows in the 20s, and then highs tomorrow in the mid to upper 20s. It'll feel colder, way colder than that, with the winds being very gusty. So weather impact alert days today and tomorrow, no doubt about that. We may end up having Friday be a weather impact alert day because of the snow potential there. And look at these numbers. We're looking at 16 tomorrow night, 29 the high Tuesday, and then down to 8 Tuesday night. The weather models don't predict very well when we have a snowpack how cold it will get at night, especially if we clear out. So sometimes the weather models will say we'll have lows in the teens. It actually gets down to the single digits. So 24 your high Wednesday, and then 4 for Wednesday nights. 24 Thursday, down to 10 Thursday night. So the cold air, again, not going anywhere. And so that means the ingredients for snow could be there next Friday, and then staying very cold into next weekend. And again, if you're just tuning in here at 10:54 on this January 5th, 2025, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine, and the Weather Impact Weather Team Center here in Mallory is over here looking at any comments, concerns, questions?
Someone's asking specifically about Madison getting the most snow and ice, everything all together, question mark. And
But mostly snow in Madison, it looks like. So I would say 10 11 inches, 12 inches maybe, is not out of the realm of possibilities for you up there in Madison and for many locations north of Louisville.
And then the only other thing is JCPS. No, they have not called yet. So.
No, JCPS hasn't called, but I think we can kind of guess where that's going to go. As the roads are snow covered, they're going to be snow covered. The crews are going to be working all day. I'm going to go back to a live cam here. This is 64 at the Snyder, before the Snyder. So it looks like they're getting some lanes open. You can't even see the lanes anyway. They're all snow covered. Then there's a couple of vehicles off to the side of the road there. So there's already been a lot of slide offs on the roads. Here are the NDOT cameras. Everybody going really slow. I mean, obviously that's the key. I don't mind driving in snow, especially four-wheel drive. It's when you get the ice that you've got no chance. Or if you get into the hills, like where I live in southern Indiana, then again, there's no chance. So obviously, got to make the decision for yourself, but travel not advised out there for today. And look at all of the red. That's all the sensors going into mobile traffic tracker showing us just a whole bunch of slowdowns, several accidents out there, and most likely a lot more accidents that are actually popping up here that haven't been reported, and more red on all of the interstates and highways. There on mobile traffic tracker, and again, nearly whiteout conditions with our live camera here. So it looks like we're probably up to around 4 inches. Meteorologist Matt Breland was saying probably around 5 inches, 4 inches, his report in Metro. I got a 4 or 5 inch report in PRP, Valley Station. Mallory, do you have any more popping in?
4 in PRP, 5 in Shepherdsville.
Okay, yeah, 4 or 5 inches. And still coming down steadily.
Impressive,
Yeah, and it's only, hey, we're only at 11 a.m. We've got plenty to go. Look at that steady stream. And that's one thing that's a little bit different about this storm that we haven't had in a while. It's been hard to lock in that cold air. But the amount of what we call QPF, the precipitation amount, if you melted it down to just liquid, is well over an inch. So a lot of times you'll hear 1 inch of rain or liquid water can equal about 10 inches of snowfall at 32 degrees. When it gets colder, that ratio goes up. It is colder than 32 degrees, so we might have a little better ratio. So if you're in all snow with 1 to 2 inches of liquid that you can use to produce snow, then you're looking at up to around a foot of snow. We might see those amounts, especially north of Interstate 64. If you get the sleet to mix in, then you're going to cut those amounts way down because sleet uses a lot more of that liquid water. And then you're going to see it go down even farther if we're talking about freezing rain or just plain rain for areas off to the south. But a lot of us are going to be in that snow zone for a good portion of today. All of us getting that snow out there now as we look from north to south, east and west, all across our WHS 11 viewing area. There's the transition to the wintry mix of sleet and freezing rain out towards Paducah. As we expand out, this is a big, big storm system. So that's why this goes into Monday with additional accumulating snow likely for our Monday. All right, back to the winter storm warning until 7 p.m. tomorrow. Ice storm warning out in western Kentucky. That's where we've already seen that transition to freezing rain and sleet. Sleet a little better than freezing rain. And then blizzard warnings out in Kansas City, out towards much of Kansas, and just and we're right smack in the middle of Winter Storm 2025. Now, I've had some questions. Is this going to be as bad as 2009? We all remember the ice storm put many of us out of power for a week or two. There's over 600,000 without power in Kentucky, I think. It doesn't look like it'll be that bad with ice, as we're getting a lot more snow out of this system than what we had in 2009. It was primarily ice, and then we had some snow dumped on top of that in 2009. So I don't think it will be as bad. Now, I still think we'll get power outages from the weight of the snow, the weight of the ice. That is going to eventually all add up, and then you're going to put on some really gusty winds on top of all of this as well. Let me try to load up the wind chill map. That's one thing I haven't been able to show just yet. Let me see if we can get this to go out a little bit in time here, see where we've got it set up. So wind chills in the teens tomorrow. So we got a lot of impacts we're talking about. Obviously, the roads are garbage with all the snow on them and ice. Brutal wind chills. If the kids are going to be out playing, which my kids already are, I'm sure, then just bundling up in a lot of layers, taking those hot chocolate breaks, making memories, having a good time. Wind chills into Tuesday morning, single digits, and I would say probably even colder than that. Again, a lot of times the models don't pick up on the snowpack making it colder. And then Tuesday, Wednesday morning, you're looking at wind chills near 0 in many locations. And then we're out of data for that model run there. Wind chills in the teens in many spots right now. All right, let's go Futurecast, and then we'll go one more time with the snow and ice maps, and then we'll wrap up this live stream here for you. Again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine here, straight up 11 a.m. on your January 5th, 2025. So this is basically now, and we're starting to go into the afternoon. Watch what's coming in from the southwest. Bottom left of your screen. It's taking its time. It's taking its time. When will we switch over to maybe some sleet and freezing rain? It looks like at some point this afternoon in Louisville. That's going to be sooner south and southwest. And it's going to be later or not going to happen north and northeast where it stays snow. And so we're going to see just a big variety of snowfall totals, ice totals, depending on your location. All right, looking ahead here, later in the afternoon, we'll go towards sunset. And we are right on that line in Louisville of snow or sleet or freezing rain. So we're just going to see what happens there. But notice south towards Elizabethtown, Bardstown, Munfordville, Campbellsville, you're getting warm enough, you might just have a cold rain on top of maybe some sleet and snow that we had today. That might do a little bit of melting. So we're going to see the snowfall totals drop sharply south. Into the evening time, we'll go 9, 10. We're starting to wrap up the heavy precipitation. We're getting into a light freezing drizzle, really slick, especially along and north of Interstate 64. We might see roads shape up a little bit better south, obviously where we have above freezing temperatures, less snow, and some melting going on south of Bullitt County especially. So the lower impacts are going to be as farther south you go, mile by mile, and then they're going to be possibly horrible in the middle where you've got ice, sleet, and snow. And I would say snow impacts great, but ice impacts are lower north. What fun to live in Kentuckiana during a winter storm. Looking ahead, just a light wintry mix overnight, drizzle south, freezing drizzle north. And then here comes that last batch of snow tomorrow around sunrise for most of us, picking up an additional, maybe 1 to 3 inches on top of what we've already picked up. So that would just be a snow for Monday morning, tapering to some flurries and some cold, cold Arctic winds for Monday afternoon. And Old Man Winter hanging around for a long time as we stay below freezing for highs and lows, possibly over the next 7 days, with another snow storm system possible next Friday. Some of the latest data here coming in for the snowfall. Total potential up to near a foot over much of southern Indiana and north of 64 in Kentucky. Could be 6, 10 inches, maybe some spots that do a little better than that. Overachievers are going to be definitely possible. Won't be surprised if we get over a foot in some spots. And then you see the numbers fall down pretty quickly the farther south we go. And then maybe some melting on top of that farther south. Winds, again, are going to be an issue at times, up to 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts this evening. This is 8 p.m. And then into our Monday, some wind gusts up to around 30. And then here's the ice potential, showing around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice This is the freezing rain that creates ice, that glaze on everything along in north and south of Interstate 64. Interstate 64 going to be rough throughout the day, along with many other roads and interstates. Ice potential again, this GFS weather model showing around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. You start to get above 1/4 inch, that's when you're going to get some limbs down. 1/2 inch, that's when you're going to get some bigger limbs down and possibly more of those power outages. And then maybe some snow sticking on top of that, or some ice on the snow, on the limbs. So we are totally expecting there to be some power outages. Another live look out there, 24 and 25 are current temps, wind chills in the teens, wind sustained at 9. Nearly whiteout conditions for much of the rest of this morning and into the afternoon. Temperatures are in the lower to mid 20s. Very much cold enough for just plain snow out there right now. And then wind chills in the teens. All right, I mentioned it before. Here you go again. This is next Friday. So yeah, we're concentrated on today and tomorrow mainly, but just a sneak preview of next Friday. If you have plans next weekend, might be some more days off school as well if we get snow like that next Friday. Time will tell with that one. So our lows tonight in the 20s, freezing drizzle, wintry mix, snow north. Snow tomorrow morning, upper 20s. Weather impact alert days today and tomorrow. Highs in the 20s, lows in the single digits for much of the rest of this work week. And then possibly a good snow potential Friday. And the confidence has been going up with that snow chance next Friday because the weather models have been showing it for several days now. And the Euro and the GFS are pretty locked in on that. And the cold air is not going anywhere. We've got that ingredient. We've got a system, a storm system, connecting with that cold air. So we'll kind of watch next Friday as well. All right, Mallory, meteorologist Mallory Schnell, do we have any comments?
I did just get a report that Grayson County just went to freezing rain at 10 a.m. So I guess it's 10 a.m. Central.
That is a good report.
Just made that transition there. A lot of reports of anywhere between 3 to 5 inches across the area.
Yeah.
Shepherdsville, PRP. Yeah. That's about that. You answered all
Loving the snow,
Yes.
not the ice. So we appreciate your reports. Again, you can leave some more reports in the comments. If you'd like your photos at whas11.com, that email comes right to us, and you can help us out and give us the ground truth, what's happening on the ground, and we can pass along those reports too. 11:07 on this January 5th. Please stay very safe out there. If you missed anything, we're going to hit the stop button, and then this will live on Facebook and YouTube. And thanks for watching. If you're watching on our WHS11 Plus, on our app as well. Thanks for letting us help you out and navigate through this storm system. Again, be very safe if you have to just even walk outside. Obviously, we've been through these before. We haven't had a winter storm like this in a while. So take it easy and enjoy that snowfall out there. Thanks for tuning in.